What's going on, everybody? Trailblazer891 here, and I want to welcome you back to another video. So recently at E3 we got a ton of gaming news, and as you would expect, we got to see some first looks at a lot of the upcoming games. Now, one of the bigger hits at E3 was The Division 2. The Division has been a game that I've spent a lot of time playing over the last couple of years, and I gotta say that even after the subpar launch of the game, Ubisoft didn't give up on the game. They continued to make improvements, and it turned out to be a pretty good game. The character and weapon progressions were good, and it was a lot of fun trying to customize your player and their loadout as you headed into different types of encounters. Now, we had been hearing a lot of rumors that we might be seeing the second version of this game at E3, and what we saw did not disappoint. So the first thing you need to know is that this game takes place in Washington, D.C., about 7 months after the first game. Now, obviously, we won't have access to the entire city, so what part of the city and how much of the city is going to be playable? Well, what's the most recognizable section of Washington, D.C.? Of course, it's Capitol Hill, the National Mall, both the Lincoln and Washington monuments, and of course the White House, and that's where we're going to get to play. So it looks as though we'll get to do combat in some pretty cool places. Now, also, this is a post-pandemic setting, so there's going to be a lot of wreckage, just like in the first game. Abandoned vehicles, people wandering the streets. It's going to be pretty cool. And from the gameplay trailer, we see that it looks as though Air Force One has crashed in front of the Capitol building. We also know that the map shown in the trailer gives us a pretty good indication of how large the playable area is going to be. Now, their website says that the map in the Division 2 is a 1-to-1 scale, and that the given area and the map in the reveal trailer shows us that we have about 4.5 square miles of map to game on. Now, how does this compare to the original game? Well, we can take a look at this this picture here, and it's not quite double the size of the first game, but it is significantly larger. Now, Ubisoft has also said that the entire story campaign will be able to be played solo, and this includes in-game content. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to be played solo. You can bring in friends if you want, but it can be played solo if you want, and that includes in-game content. Now, I think this is a big win for The Division 2 because there were portions of the first game that were almost impossible to complete if you weren't playing with someone else. Now, there's a large portion of gamers that want the ability to play the entire game without being required to have help, without being required to be online. Not every gamer has a group of friends that they can game with on a regular basis, and I think this is a great way to keep all types of gamers engaged for longer periods of time in The Division 2. Now, The Division 2 is also looking to do a much better job of story development than the first game. In an interview with Gaming Bolt, the creative director for the game said, "Actually, The Division 2 is very focused on the survivors and how they've been changing, organizing themselves during these 7 months. So, in the first game, it was reacting to the virus outbreak through the situation that caused the riot. Now, civilians are banding together, organizing themselves, arming themselves, trying to rebuild what is left to rebuild, and not just resigning themselves to the situation." So from this, it looks as though they are putting a much bigger emphasis on what is actually happening to the survivors and character development than the first game, and I think that's going to be pretty exciting. Now, we've also learned that your characters from the first game will not carry over into the Division 2, and I'm okay with that. But the one thing they are doing with characters in this game is that they are going to have subclasses for you to pick from. Now, there will be 3 different subclasses. There's the Sharpshooter, which allows you to carry around a .50 caliber sniper rifle. The second one is the Demolitionist, and this allows you to get your hands on a grenade launcher. And the third is the Survivalist, which is this subclass allows you to have a military-grade crossbow. They did say that once you choose one of the subclasses, you will have to progress through the game to be able to unlock the other subclasses. We will also see the return of the Dark Zone in the Division 2. Now, there aren't a whole lot of details on this at this time, and if any changes have been made at all to the Dark Zone. But they did announce that in the Division 2, there will be raids, and you will be able to team up with 7 other people to embark on these in-game type of events. Now, this received a loud ovation from the crowd at E3, and this is something that people have been asking for and wanting to get for some time, and I think it's just one more thing that Ubisoft is doing to really try and improve upon from the first game. So make sure you grab your friends and get ready to tackle these challenges head on. Now, there is one more bit of information, and that is that just like in the first game, in that first year after release, there are going to be 3 completely free DLCs for everyone. And I think this was a huge win for the first game, and it looks like Ubisoft is really giving customers what they want by offering this again with the second game. Now, I want you guys to let me know in the comments below if you plan on purchasing this game or even try to get in on the beta. Make sure you hit that like button, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and as always, I will catch you next time.